Hello everyone, and welcome back to all of you to the another edition of WorldRef Insight interview series. And I'm your host Prashant Jha, and today our expert guest is Mr. Sandeep Dalal. He has worked as a project business development manager at Sungrow and worked with some other big names like Godrej and Boyce, Kirloskar, ABB, TBEA, and many other big companies in India as well as abroad. So he's now an entrepreneur and has founded a startup called Ainesh Renewable. So please join me to welcome Mr. Sandeep Dalal, sir. Hello, sir.
Hi, how
So
are you?
yes, sir, I am absolutely fine. And I
Right.
hope you are also doing well, sir.
Yeah, everything perfectly okay.
So,
Yeah, let me introduce myself. Myself, Sandeep Dalal. I do have experience of somewhere around 18 year plus. And entire journey of my experience is electrical electronics industries only. I started my career with ABB, then Havels India, then Kirloskar, Godrej, and for the electrical lines. And after that, I got the opportunity to move into the renewable sector, and there I learned about the renewable sector specifically for the solar energy. I started my career in renewable energy with TBEA, then Sungrow, likewise. And just recently, last year only, we started our one of bootstrap startup company, and we are registered in DPIT as well as we are registered in MSME. That by my startup company name is Ainesh Renewable Technologies Private Limited. And yes,
mhm.
we are doing basically for the design and engineering consultancy.
So, sir, can you just brief more about your this startup called Ainesh Renewable to our
Yeah.
users? I think you guys are doing a lot of work in the renewable sector right now.
Yeah, as I earlier shared the information that we just last year started our startup company, Ainesh Renewable Technologies Private Limited, and we are three renewable energy professionals, and we're having approximately put together somewhere around 44 years plus of experience for renewable sector. And we are majorly focusing on floating solar and the solar plus BSS system. Apart from that, yes, just recently we have been recognized by one of the magazine. Name is Consultant Review, and as one of the promising growing 2021 solar energy consultancy company. And apart from that, yes, we are majorly focusing on the floating and solar plus BSS. Plus, we are working on one of the project of floating solar, and yes, might be we are also providing one more design and engineering consultancy for one of the Bangladesh company as well. And apart from that, yes, we are also exploring the operation and maintenance segment of solar energy. In that, we have just recently developed one mobile application by name is Handy Mandy, and which is you can say providing the services to the solar plant rooftop owners. They don't require any kind of signing the long-term you can say the contract or costly contract or agreement with the any company. Just log into that mobile app, and they just ask for the required services, and they will get the services from there and locally available the service providers only. So that's it about the Renewable Technologies platform.
So I think it is the much needed services right now in terms of O&M, and you guys
Yeah.
are doing really great in terms of your startup called Ainesh Renewable. So we must be really looking towards to it. Apart from that, sir, as we have discussed before this interview, or as you have mentioned in these times, that one of your key focuses of the company is floating solar. So,
Yeah.
just wanted to know that can you just give us a brief about and some information about how floating solar can change the dynamics of the renewable energy sector in India, and can you just tell us something about what are the challenges and opportunities in the Indian floating solar market right now?
Yes. We we Ainesh Renewable Technologies, as earlier we informed you, we are mainly focusing on the floating solar power plant in India. What I researched and we got informations and knowledge from the various reports and all that. We feel that India having somewhere around 20 gigawatt plus kind of the potential available in India. And for the reservoirs, as understand, reservoirs and dams are the state matters regarding the operational maintenance, with
Right.
operational maintenance of the reservoir and dams. So what we feel that instead of monetizing those opportunities, those potentials, reservoirs and dams, we are just expending the money on for the just operation and maintenance of the reservoirs and dams which is available already. So by putting floating solar power plants by utilizing the available reservoir and dams, not only we are going to generate the revenue, apart from the generation of the revenue and power, we can promote as the tourist spot Indian people or tourists so that they come and they will get the awareness about the how the solar is working. And because of that, I feel personally, I feel that there's chance to get the good employment generation as well, because the more the demand of the solar, the more the company will come. And not only the Indian company will participate in solar, specifically for the floating solar power plant, even the European countries and Australian companies and some of the American companies also are showing the interest to come to India for exploring the floating solar power plant market in India. But right now, what is happening, because in India, there's no clear-cut policy available for the floating solar plant.
Right.
And government also is not exploring that segment, which is available with us. And it is my personal view that because of the land is, you can say, land resources are very limited to us. So we should explore the floating solar. And definitely, I feel that because of the floating solar exploration, the cost of the floating solar will be come down. And as well as I feel that we can formulate a policy for the floating solar power plant. And my personal suggestion would be to the government of India, instead of going with the capex and opex separately, let it be fit FTT, the fit to the tariff kind of the policy can be made for the floating solar power plant.
It's quite an interesting suggestion. I think one should look after it as a company owner or something.
Yeah.
So, sir, talking about more about this renewable energy sector in India, as you already know that many of a major part of the modules and the other accessories and the equipments we used to import from the big countries like China and Korea and other big part of the world. So, right now, at this moment of time, at this age, how much India is still dependent on the imports when it comes to the renewable sector?
According to recent statement of Minister of Power and Renewable Energy, as understand, India is targeting somewhere around 450 gigawatt kind of the installed renewable energy capacity by 2030. Right. And out of that, the major share would be 280 gigawatt, is somewhere around 60% for the solar only. So for the next 10 years, I feel we will working out to that means 25 gigawatt we have to install the capacity every year to achieve the target. So to achieving the target, the Indian companies or India would end up by importing the modules and inverters with worth $1 billion, because I feel that domestic manufacturing for the modules is not enough to fulfill the demand, because that is 25 gigawatt every year is required. So according to the even last one report, when I just reading that one report, I understand that according to Indian government data of 2019-2020, the India imported solar wafers, cells, modules, and inverters worth $2.5 billion. So you can imagine how big the market is available in India right
exactly.
now. So government of India is just trying to ramp up the domestic manufacturing through the various steps, like they introduce the excise duty, they increase the import duty as well. But again, because we don't have capacity, so we may require somewhere around 25 gigawatt every year to achieve the target. So currently, the annual solar power plant manufacturing capacity in India, according to one of the report, 3 gigawatt for solar cells and 10 to 15 gigawatt somewhere around for the solar modules, and approximately 5 gigawatt for the solar inverters, which is, I feel it is not going to meet or serve purpose to achieve the 25 gigawatt target every year. And apart from that, the manufacturing capacity, presently we don't have facilities available with us, like the polysilicon, wafers, ingots, like this. So yes, till now we are dependent on the, you can say, the majority on the imports only.
Exactly. So this is what actually the situation is, and we have to dig a lot to actually reach a level so that we can increase our manufacturing facilities and all the production so that we can meet our current domestic requirements.
Yeah.
So when we talk about solar modules, when we talk about solar cells and all the equipments, although like if we talk about renewable energy, so the government are actually having some good major initiatives they have taken right now. One of them is PLI. So in your view, up to what extent the government's production link incentive, that is PLI scheme, is helpful for our solar manufacturers in India? What are your views about it?
Yes, certainly the PLI will going to boost the manufacturing across the entire solar sector if multiple companies are allowed to participate in this plan or in this production link incentive program. Government should focus and should encourage to the more local players to participate in that, and they should qualify for this program, and they will get access to towards the, you can say, the incentives and other financial benefits. We can say that the overall, yes, the industry will get some kind of the very good benefit out of that. What I understand, according to the reports of the one of the government website, the PLI central government is going to infuse the somewhere around 1.45 trillion rupees to the majorly 10 critical sectors for the renewable energy for the next 5 years, and which is, you can say, out of that, the sector includes the high efficiency solar modules and advanced chemistry based cells, batteries, and automobiles and auto components. What I understand from the one of the statement of the government, they are going to allocate somewhere around 1.46 trillion. They are going to allocate approximately 800 billion rupees for majorly three sectors. These three sectors are the solar photovoltaic modules, advanced chemistry cell batteries, and automobile and the auto components as well. What I feel that yes, the PLI program, we are hoping that it's going to boost the domestic manufacturing sector to make it self-sufficient, and also what I feel we will be in position to export as well. And the PLI scheme will also going to help for the laying the groundwork for a world-class manufacturing base in the country, which will ultimately help the Indian companies to compete with the global market.
Okay, very well.
Yeah.
So after the PLI scheme, I think the government should also look on the solar waste management, because the renewable sector, as we can say, is not the whole as a green part. There are some waste, there are some solar waste, and what are your thoughts on this solar waste management in India? And how supportive are the policy, and what are the major steps taken by the government? Is the existing approach enough to tackle the upcoming hazard, or we need to dig out something more? We need to actually look upon this upcoming hazard which we can stop. So what are your views about this?
Yes, it is actually a very burning issue and very, very, very important issue. Actually, right now, at the moment, India yet not have any kind of a dedicated PV waste management and recycling policy at all. Presently, the solar modules and batteries waste are, you can say, treated as a general electronics waste, like other products are there, and all entirely they are come into the one of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, which I feel, at least based on the, you can say, the nature of the electronic waste plus the solar PV and the other battery, they are having some separate kind of the chemical compositions availability. According to that, the government of India should promote or should come up with one specifically waste management and recycling policy for the solar PV and battery waste as well. So because of the presently scenario, but keeping in the mind that India's PV module manufacturing industry is under development and And the majority of the modules are imported from the countries like China and Taiwan. So PV modules recycling policy in place can make India self-reliant if we will get some kind of good, sustainable, encouraging waste management and recycling policy. So my suggestion would be to the government is that they have to come up with some dedicated waste management and recycling policy from environmental and resource management perspective. The environmental perspective aspects the ecological impact of these products upon disposal, and to understand like the solar PV module and batteries contains materials which is some active components availability or some non-active components is available in that. So also, if you take about the two kind of the technologies available in itself in PV modules, crystalline silicon and thin film silicon technologies available. So likewise, government has to introduce some dedicated waste management and recycling policy under which either I can say that the renewable energy waste management and recycling policy kind of the things should be introduced, and now it is the right time at the moment. And according to that, the active components availability, the government should define the heads like PV modules, the batteries, and other electronics parts, like glass, the aluminum glass, aluminums, this way.
Very interesting. When it comes to the solar waste management, we have to go a miles away right now.
Yeah.
And anything more you would like to add as a key suggestion to our policymakers to boost the current solar industry in India?
Okay, we can say that although India having somewhere around the goal for the renewable energy for 50 gigawatt by 2030, but yet it is not clear that how we are going to achieve that target, and what kind of the resources we are going to utilize to achieve the new energy mix. So to enabling, you can say the structure, the government should come up with one, say, like as understand COP26, Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi said one sun, one grade, and one goal, right? So according to this, we should introduce some same kind of the policy for the Indian solar industry as well. To allow all the discoms across the country to prepare for this increase in the solar energy in the grid as well as the reduction of the fossil fuel energy. And I'm hoping that the state and central level policymakers can work together to set standardized guidelines for the solar rooftop, ground-mounted solar plants, and open access installation that can be support and boost the solar energy to meet the targets as well. And apart from that, yes, during the making the lucrative and encouraging policy, I would like to request the policymakers that they should consider the financial aspect as well. That means that the fund should be available easily and attractive rate of interest along with the terms and conditions for the developers and generators who are to achieve that particular target.
So, which is in my way is also very much needed at this moment of time to actually give a boost to the sector, as well as you can say that the rise for this sector also to achieve the targets which are also running. We are actually running good, but we are still behind it. So on that note, thank you so much, sir, for joining us for this interview, and I hope our users will get the benefit from it.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, sir. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you.